Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about aircraft propulsion in the advantages and disadvantages of closed cycle gas turbine. We have studied about open cycle constant pressure gas turbine in the previous chapter. Now we will be studying about closed cycle constant pressure gas turbine. The difference between the two is that in the open cycle we are giving out the exhaust gases to the atmosphere, but here in the closed cycle the exhaust gases will be recycled to the compressor by passing it through the heat exchanger. The heat exchanger will remove the extra heat from the working fluid. The difference between the two are the open cycle will be using air as the working fluid, but in closed cycle we can use any fluid as the working fluid. And the open cycle heat gas turbine, it will be using the direct heating of the air in the combustion chamber, and it will cause the erosion and corrosion of the turbine blades because of the contaminated gases. But in closed cycle we can avoid this by indirect heating, and it can avoid erosion and corrosion of the turbine blades, and efficiency of the cycle can be improved, and the working pressure is atmospheric, and so the plant size becomes very large. But in closed cycle we can have higher pressure, and hence the plant size can be reduced. But the heat transfer is small in open cycle, but in closed cycle the heat transfer coefficient is larger because of the high working pressure. And in open cycle the part load efficiency is poor because the complete cycle is regulated by the flow of the fuel. But in the closed cycle we can have a better efficiency when the engine is partly loaded, and that is by controlling the fluid pressure. And in the open cycle the power developed cost is more as good as quality fuel has to be used. That means how much fuel you are using, that much cost will come. But in closed cycle the power developed is economical, since we can use the fuel of any quality, since it is not directly in contact with the working fluid. And in open cycle we have to filter the incoming air, and in closed cycle it is not necessary because we are not taking any air inlet. And in the open cycle the plant efficiency and power output is less due to low working pressure of the working fluid, and in closed cycle the higher plant efficiency and power output because of the higher working pressure. But the open cycle is very simple, the system completely it is very simple, but in closed cycle the system becomes a little bit complicated because of the longer heat transfer coefficient of air heaters. And open cycle requires no coolant, and the atmosphere itself behaves as a coolant, but in closed cycle we need the coolant before entering into the compressor. The system need not be rigid in the open cycle because of lower working pressure, but in closed cycle if you are using higher pressure it should be robust. And the open cycle system is cheaper as compared to the closed cycle system. And these are some of the advantages listed here in the closed cycle system, and some of the disadvantages are also listed here, you can see. Thank you.